In my last video, I wanted to turn these resin cabochons into double stoned earrings. In this video, I did just that. I took a poll on my community tab asking what kind of wire, and copper won. With using last week's design, I incorporate a small stone as well to make unique and beautiful double stone earrings. And since they are made with resin, they are super lightweight. I'll walk you through each step using round and square wire. Let's get started. Hi there again. So if you joined me last week, you would know that I have 2 pairs of earrings left to wrap. I put a poll out on the community page asking what type of wire you want me to use, and copper won. In some other comments, I got people wanting square, so I'm going to use both today. Due to the size of these, they're pretty thin. I'm going to use 22 gauge. 22 gauge round. You can get these smaller spools from parawire.com. For the square, I also got 22 gauge. This is a large spool from Rio Grande. Weaving wire, I have 28 gauge. Half round wire, I chose 22 gauge. So I'm gonna wrap these 2 with the round wire. So I have to do some thinking. I wanna do a similar design to last week, but I need to incorporate my little guys here. So I think I'm gonna use 4 wires, 1 to brace the front, 1 to brace the back, and 2 to come up the side, 1 to brace this stone, and 1 to weave for the bail. Yeah, I think that's what I'm gonna do. To give myself plenty of wire, I'll pull out 6 inches. For both earrings, I need 8 lengths total. Okay, I've got my 2 bundles of 4. Of course, you don't have to make earrings, you can just make a pendant. But me, I've got to do this twice and make them match. So let's start weaving. Try to eyeball the center. I'm going to clamp it just left of center. This is a wooden ring clamp. Links are down below in the description box. I put my weaving wire on a bobbin. These are down below too. This is great for wire management. I highly recommend. Okay, I've got 4 wires here. I'll number them going from bottom to top. 1, 2, 3, and 4. I'm going to do a sumac weave. Starting from the bottom, I bring my wire out from in between 1 and 2, and I wrap around this way, and I anchor it 3 times. Where is it? There we are. So we have 4 wires this week. I'm going to do at least 3 passes with this pattern, and we'll see where we're at when we get there. I'm going to go over number 2 and out between 1 and 2. Over 3 and out between 2 and 3. Over 4 and around 4 once. Down and out between 2 and 3, up around 3, down and out between 1 and 2, and up around 2, and around 1 once. Give that a smoosh. That is 1 pass. Okay, repeat that a couple more times. Up around 2, out between 1 and 2, up around 3, out between 2 and 3, up around 4, then around 4 once, down and out between 2 and 3, up around 3, out between 1 and 2, up around 2, and around 1 once. That's 2. 1 more. is plenty wrap, so I'm going to anchor it on the bottom 3 times. Pull this side nice and tight. Snip it again. If we're in the center, and we are, amazingly enough. And I'm going to use my pliers to gently smush that weave down, and that's where we're at. I'm going to go ahead and do the other one real quick, and I'll be back. Okay, so that's done. I found a big dowel here. Looks like it's 11 millimeters. My cabochon is 12, so that's pretty close. We're going to shape our wires around our dowel. Keep our weave centered. If you don't have a dowel, you can use a marker or something. Find something round that's about the same size as your stone. I'm going to start crisscrossing the front and the back wires. Make a small enough loop where it would secure your stone. Flip those wires out of the way. I'm going to grab my stone and start shaping these guys. Start to crisscross them. Oops. And I'm doing them side by side this week because since they're larger, any mistakes that I make will be a lot more noticeable, I think. So I'm just going to do them simultaneously. I think they match. And I'm just going to come through and bend them upward where they cross. Like that. So we have 4 wires going upward. I'm going to grab the bottom wire that's closest, the wire in the back, I should say. Actually, flip it over. This weaving wire down here, the side with the most wraps, is the back. The wire closest to me that's in the back, I'm going to anchor my 28 gauge on. With 3 good wraps. I put 4, but I didn't think that first wrap was good. Anyway, let's bunch these together. Stack them like in a square. Right where they curve, we're gonna wrap all 4 of them. Oh, that first one's not tight. Nice and snug. Pull these front wires forward, and we're gonna weave the back wires. But they're a little skinny right where they are. So I'm going to weave them a little bit wider to about the width of our stone. That looks like a good width. And We're going to do a figure 8 weave. So I went 2 times around. I went two times around, and I'm going to come across and come under this way and go 2 times around, come across and under. And just keep repeating that pattern. You're going to make a little basket weave. And create a little net for your stone to sit in. When you have woven enough for the length of your stone, you can go ahead and start locking your stone in. Get those wires nicely stacked again, and let's coil them together. I did that so the top matches the bottom. Bring your wires forward. And then I'm gonna continue with the modified sumac weave, which is over the top and around, back behind and around this wire, over the top and around the top wire, back behind and around the bottom wire. And I'm going to continue that for 1 centimeter, which was a good length last week for our earring bail. These we can do some decorations with. I want to bring these wires down so I can anchor them down here. So that's more than 1 centimeter. Let me weave a little bit more, just so I can bring it down the back of the stone we just wrapped. That should be plenty. I'll anchor that and snip it. Snip this little guy down here. Just bring it through the front. Okay, so let's get our second or our main stone in. Let's do the back first. Let's cut these guys in half. I'm just going to do one wrap. Okay, let's get the front done. Those back wires I wrap downward, so these wires I'm going to wrap upward. Okay, let's bring that bail down. Keep our weave compressed. Bring our wires through the middle here. I really like how this is coming out. I had another vision in my head and it looks like it's working out. Tuck these guys in. So what should we do with these? I don't know, should we make little hearts since it's February? Might as well, right? Pink. I want to put a little swirly in it. Well, look at that. I swear I didn't plan this. This wasn't a Valentine's Day video, but you know what? I'm going to go with it. Tuck that in back there. Maybe I'll just wrap this around this guy. Now I gotta mirror it. I couldn't mirror them because my wire wasn't long enough, but they're matching at least. To make them into earrings, I just need a couple of jump rings. I always keep some coils on hand. This looks like a good size. Just cut a couple off. When I cut my own, I have to cut off the angle, so that's why I'm doing this extra cut. I like these because the bail's kind of hidden. Grab some ear wires. You can make your own. I just happen to have these store-bought ones. There we go. One pair done. Well, not completely. I still want to oxidize them, but I'll do that later. Next, let's work on these. Like I said, I'm going to use square wire. And like with those, I'll pull out 6 inches each, 4 for each earring, so that makes 8. Okay. 2 bundles of 4. So instead of weaving today, we're going to bind these with half round wire. I'm going to use 22 gauge. Cut off a 6-inch piece for that. Okay, I always put my bindings on. I start with a hook. Let's turn this over. I always wrap left to right. Let's get this started. use my flat nose pliers to push it over the edge, and then I pull it with my fingers. I press it nice and tight. You don't need too many wraps, probably 5. 5 should be a good number. If your wraps are cockeyed, you can grab opposite corners and squeeze. Okay, do the same for this one. I'm going to use a little bit of a smaller dowel for this one. This one's like 9 millimeters. Shaper wraps, ugly side in. Do the same design, but using square. So let's crisscross, make sure they don't twist. Use your stone as a guide. Now these you can't flip down and forward like the other ones because they're not round wires. So we'll try to get the front and back wires out of the way as much as we can. Slip your stone in for reference. You can crisscross these wires, but you kind of weave them in and out of each other. Let's do the same to this one. Not much difference between front and back. You can pick either one. Either one will be fine. Same with these. We can kind of weave them in between each other and then cross. Decide on where you want them to cross, and decide on what's a good length, and then straighten them out where they cross. Sharpies are helpful. So let's bend them up. Usually do one at a time because they can get wonky on you if you try to do them all. Same with this one. Okay, make sure everybody's even and straight. Let's grab another piece. This piece is probably over a foot long. I put another hook on it, just like the other one. Make sure all your 4 wires are stacked nicely, both ways. Go to the back, hook it onto one of the wires, and we're gonna do a few wraps. Make my hook a little bigger, it's not grabbing. Start wrapping everybody. These are starting to overlap, so make sure that doesn't happen. My half round is twisting on me. Pretty much because these wires are in the way. I'm ending up twisting them. There. Just like the other ones, I'm going to put 4 wraps on. Grab those front wires and bring them forward. Bring these out. I just want to make a little cradle for this guy. I'm going to use my round nose pliers to shape. Nothing too crazy, just something to support it. I'm going to start my wrap over again. We got to bring these wires up. Okay, I'm going to stack them just like I did down here, and we're going to wrap them. Just start off a little bit higher. Got a little bit more control up here, so I can keep these guys in a stack. Bring these guys all the way down as far as I can. Bring these 2 guys forward. And then keep on wrapping these 2 wires. And these will be our bail. Okay, let's connect these guys. I like to work the back first. Let's cut them into more manageable lengths. Almost forgot we gotta go around 2 wires. Make sure not to twist them. Let's do these. I have to tell you, I'm really enjoying this design. This little guy, let's bring him around and through the middle. And maybe around this 1 wire here. Okay, let's bend this guy back. I left the wrap on there because I didn't think I was far enough, and I'm not. So I'm going to throw a few more wraps on here. Bring these through. I'm just going to wrap the half round around everybody a couple times. Snip it, bring it down and tuck it in. And then bring these behind. Trim these and tuck them in. Awesome. Once again, what are we going to do with these? Maybe I'll bring them together. Bring them to the back. There's plenty of space back there. They're not long enough to do much with. At least we should be able to mirror them. There we go. I'll go work on that one and I'll be back. Okay, I finished up the other one. I mirrored it. Kind of looks like a heart when you put them together, doesn't it? Anyway, I'm really pleased on how they turned out. I really like this design. Maybe next week I'll do a pendant in sterling silver with some gemstones. In the meantime, I'm going to go oxidize these, so I'll be back. I'm really loving this design. I think it's simple enough to keep repeating and use it as an all-around go-to design. I did oxidize the copper and then I had to buff it out, and I had to be really careful of this resin because it scratches really easy. I did nick some of them, but it was easy enough to fix. I just took some more UV resin, touched it up with a tiny nail brush, good as new. And just like that, we turned a few resin cabs into beautiful double-stoned earrings. I hope this tutorial inspired you to try them yourself. If you enjoyed this video, please give me a thumbs up. And subscribe for more. Leave me a comment, let me know what you thought. I'd love to see your creations, so tag me on social media. Have a great week and happy wrapping!